Let's not hack. All right, cool. So this is section 4. We're going to be talking about what makes a memoir. What makes it? Okay. So what is it? What is a memoir? We need to make sure we understand the structure and what a memoir is so that we can think about writing one. All right, so we have these 3 questions. Again, anything I give you, you have to do. I just went over those words. If you need the actual lesson, it's already on Classroom. There's a video for it. Then that's why we have a bunch back there. All right, so we have 3 questions. You have a minute to answer 1, 2, all 3. What makes a memoir? What is the structure of a memoir? And what is a good strategy to use to get started on writing your memoir? Here we go. So we have. I need to get rid of this thing. Oh, cool. All right. So there's 2 things about a memoir. All right. Number 1, it is focused on a theme. So you have picked out a life lesson from your life that you think is important, that you have something to say about, and then you include examples from your life. Very short examples, not long examples. Short. So again, this connects to yesterday. This big idea. We do small details. The big idea, that's your life lesson about what you think about the world in your life. And the small details, those are your 3 stories that you're going to share that fit with that. Okay? Let's take a look at the memoir we used for the pre-assessment. Okay, so this is the author's opening paragraph. Have you ever been so excited about an activity that you just jump right into it? Have you ever had to repeat something because you didn't follow the directions carefully? Have you ever done something and the result was not what you hoped for? Throughout my life, I have been very guilty of doing something without thinking about the consequences. I haven't always looked before I left. Whether it be school, home, traveling, or participating in a hobby, it is important to make sure you understand fully what to do so you don't end up with regrets later. This is the opening paragraph. What is the author talking about in the opening paragraph? Talk to each other. What do you think? All right, 3, 2, 1. This is her life lesson. So the introductory paragraph of your memoir will be you writing about a life lesson. Okay, her life lesson you can say is, I haven't always looked before I left, or understanding what I need to do before I do it. Okay, thinking about that. So we have to start our memoirs with this. Is that how every single memoir ever written goes? No. Is this how our memoirs are going to go? Yes. It makes it simpler for you to understand and do it. So our structure for a memoir is the first paragraph of all of your memoirs will be you talking about life and life lessons. All right, number 2, here's some other paragraphs. So this is the second and third paragraph. When I was in 3rd grade, my mom trusted me to make cookies for the first time by myself. I had probably helped her bake cookies at least 20 times in the past, so I felt confident I could do it without help. She started to explain the different measurements that I would need for the ingredients when I interrupted her, and I know what to do, Mom. You can trust me. With that, she left the kitchen and gave me space to bake. I mixed together all the wet ingredients, butter, sugar, eggs, vanilla. Then I added in the dry ingredients, flour, baking soda, salt, and then finally, I folded in the chocolate chips. I popped them in the oven for about 10 minutes, and the aroma filled our house. My brothers followed the smell to the kitchen as I pulled the first batch out of the oven. They couldn't wait to eat one and almost burnt their fingers on the baking sheet. Hold your horses, I yelled at them as I took 2 cookies off the pan and put them on a paper towel. They grabbed at them greedily and shoved almost an entire cookie in their mouths. I watched expectantly for them to tell me how delicious the cookies were when their faces went from a look of ecstasy to terror. They both raced to the kitchen garbage can and spit the cookies out. The remnants of the cookies on the paper towels were thrown into the garbage like they were nothing better than peas or Brussels sprouts. Are you trying to poison us? My older brother asked. It was then my mom walked into the kitchen. She took a piece of one of the cookies and popped it into her mouth. She made a gagging sound. How much salt did you put in these? She asked me. I followed the directions of the recipe, I responded as I looked at the recipe card. 2 tablespoons. My mom looked at the recipe card and said, honey, that says 2 teaspoons. I ruined my first batch of cookies, all because I was too arrogant to listen to my mom's instructions about measurement. What is the author doing here? Talk to your partner. All right, 3, 2, 1, 0. As Allie commented, these are her reasons and evidence to support her opening. This is an opinion. Right? It's an opinion essay. It's very similar. I have a claim. I have my reasons. My reasons come from my life. Okay, so the first paragraph, that's your theme. That's your big idea. And then the rest of the paragraphs are short stories. So if we go back to that memoir, she has other stories. She just doesn't have one. So we want multiple stories. Okay, we want multiple stories. So that's the other thing. Name a lesson you have learned, and then list 3 stories that fit that lesson. So one thing you could do today, like if you are ready, if you're done with blurbs, you're like, I don't want to see another blurb for the rest of my life. Fair. Okay, and you feel like you have some life lessons that you've learned about life. Like you're ready to really think about writing your memoir and drafting it. Drafting, not publishing, drafting. First draft is many that you're going to change and make better over the course of time. All right, you can think, you want to list maybe 3 lessons you've learned. Okay, so if I think about my 5th grade self, what were some things I learned about life? So that's one. My family will support me even if we're not together. Okay, that's something that I learned by that point because we had separated, but we still have relationships, all that good stuff. What's another one? I can make and keep friends. Right? So I learned how to do that. I had to be new. So I was new, made friends, kept friends, and got in a fight with people, still were friends with them, pretty interesting stuff. Then I had to leave. I think that's the other thing. Maybe I can be perseverant. I can survive. I've learned all this stuff about me so far. Okay? So then I want to look at these 3 ideas that I have, these 3 things. And I want to think, is there one that resonates the most with me? Is there one that I'm more excited about? Okay, that I want to get started on. So I think maybe this one, I can be perseverant and survive. So then I want to think about what are 3, we're doing the rule of 3 here, 3 and 3. So 3 lessons I've learned about the world, 3 pieces of evidence that support that from my life. So when are times I've been perseverant? There was soccer. When you don't give up. So soccer, I was always on horrible teams, and then I was on a great team. Okay, so I can talk about that. I was on horrible teams for most of my life as a goalie. It's just not a fun position to play. It's not a fun position to play when you're on a horrible team as a goalie. And then I was traded for and was on a great team, and then it all ended horribly anyway. So soccer, that was a persevering thing. What's Allison? That was persevering. I think probably being new and making friends. You know, I could have been discouraged and given up because, I was different. They were all something called Mormons, so their religion was different than mine. And that could have been a big deal. I could have thought everybody was weird and strange, but I didn't. I kind of learned about the world, kept going. And what would be a 3rd thing that I could do that showed that I was perseverant? So I have to be 5th grade, my 5th grade self. And I'm just, this is that kind of thing that you should be doing. What did I learn to do? I could think about a time I wasn't perseverant. Could I do that? The saxophone. Maybe that could be an advanced thing, because I gave up on that thing quick. I'd also been punched in the face. Yeah. Okay, punched, loose tooth. And then I had to shove it into my back into my gums. Shove it back up. it wasn't even my fight, just watching the fight. And they were fighting, these kids were fighting, and someone called my name. I turned back, and then when I turned back, boom, it's right here in this tooth. And right here. Push it back up in my mouth. Right, so we got to do that. So that was 5th grade. That was fun. I had to move again. That's right, 5th grade. I had to move in the middle of 5th grade. So I had this friends, all the stuff that I put time into. So that's another thing. I can talk about that. Having to move again, make new friends. All right. So what did I do? I thought about 3 lessons that I had learned about the world, things that I thought I knew about the world, and then I wanted to pick one that I was most excited about and write down 3 things that fit, at least 3 things that fit into my life. You have decisions. That was me working. Now, if you're struggling, okay, if you want to distance yourself a little bit, you don't want to be vulnerable and share things you've learned about the world, what do you think your average 5th grader here at the Columbus School has probably learned about school or life or anything by the time they're in 5th grade? So I want you to think about that and have a conversation. Just your average 5th grader, what have they learned about life, do you think? All right, so like check in with each other. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. All right, 3, 2, 1. Bring the reading. What reading did you do? What reading? I don't know about this one. You put reading. What's that in reference to? Okay, cool. So just make sure you're doing that. And then again, we keep writing every day. We have sessions every day. We have math practice that we're going to be doing. So just making sure you do it. This is excellent. This is exactly what you should be doing. And you only initial it when you finish. I mean, I'm still going to check because there's going to be some other things that should be added by the time you get to recess. All right, cool. So you should have what makes a memoir, this idea about life lessons and short examples from your life, the structure of a memoir, that first paragraph introducing that life lesson, and then that strategy listing those 3 things. So what does that mean for you today? You could start drafting. So if you go through the process of, here are 3 life lessons I've learned, I'm going to pick one and write about 3 moments of that life, and you want to start drafting your memoir, you are allowed to do that. I forgot to print out some paper. I need to get that. I'll have that ready for you later. If you want to just write opinions about life, you can be doing that. If you want to be looking through your life for life lessons or themes or issues, you can be doing that. All right? But that all consists of writing. And if you're still in a moment where you're wanting to do blurbs, you can do that as well. Whatever you do, it's 1.5 pages. Okay, so it could be a half page of planning and then a page of drafting. That's fine. Okay, if you are drafting, you need to use my draft paper. All right? Okay, so that's where I'll be looking for that. I need to print some out, so you can't start yet. And anyway, there's like 6 minutes before we leave. Hold on a second. Yep. Huh? Then you start drafting your memoir, like writing. If you want to do that. I'll have the paper ready after. Correct. All right. Cool. Hold on a second.